Welcome to the SDGsLead and our special edition, and a warm welcome chance to talk here in Reykjavik, Iceland, with the President of Switzerland, Simonetta Somaruga. Thank you very much for this chance,
Thank you.
and you're an amazing role model for millions of girls and women worldwide to follow.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me, and I'm very glad to talk to you, especially coming from Ukraine. And at the same time, here in Reykjavik at the Global Forum, where so many 500 women are here, leader persons from over 80 countries. And I think this is a wonderful and amazing atmosphere.
Yeah, in fact, it's the atmosphere of partnership here and role models like you. What would be your message to the girls and women leaders aspiring to get positions in politics, maybe other fields, in terms of how not to give up, but rather be confident and feel this mission?
Well, I think first it's worth to be engaged in human rights, to be engaged in democracy, in equal rights for women. But it's not only wonderful to do that, but it's really necessary. So I think each woman, each girl who finds a way, it does not have in politics, it can be in an NGO, it can be in a political party, it can be anywhere, but to be engaged in that together with others. This is a wonderful and a necessary task for all of us. And I think we should not be afraid, because of course there are attacks when we say things that others don't like. But if we know that we fight and we are engaged for human rights, for really the basic, for equal pay, for example, this is so important. Then okay, attacks, they belong to that, but we should not be afraid of that.
Do you have some personal life hacks? What are you saying maybe to yourself in the toughest moment on how not to stop and not to give up?
Well, I think tough moments happen to all of us. For me, what was very important always, and especially I think in politics, that you have an inner compass, that you know where you want to go, that you know why you're so much engaged for equal rights, for example, for women. And if you know that, that helps you to be strong also when really everything is going a little bit chaotic. And the second thing is that for me, already as a young woman, I wanted to have a voice, to give a voice to those women who cannot have their own voice because maybe they don't have the time, they have a difficult situation. So I want to be a voice for them. I want to advocate for them. And I think this is easier to do it for somebody else, and it makes you strong as well.
Exactly, this is wonderful words. President Samaruga, how would you perceive sustainability as such, this concept with this SDGs 2030 overall, not the least in terms of sustainable recovery of Ukraine, other countries, sustainability, what does it mean for you from the perspective of Switzerland?
Well, I would say sustainability means that you do not look only for yourself and only until this night or tomorrow, but you look a little more forward.
Longer perspective.
Yes, to have a longer perspective and to say, is that sustainable in a sense economically? Can we go on like that? But also in the question of environment, for example, can we go on like that? What does make that? I mean, the climate crisis is here. So everybody knows we cannot continue like that, but also in a social way. Because I think we have really learned, if there is social equity, if there is social justice, that helps also economies. If we have an inclusion of all different parties, all different interests, and have, of course, also the inclusion of women, then we have more possibilities also in an economic way. So I think inclusion, to have to work together and not against one another, this is for me sustainability.
The power of solidarity and partnership, like one of the SDGs partnership.
Exactly.
What would be your message to other countries? Switzerland is an example of great economy, like paradise in many senses, and lots of achievements practically in economic, social, other fields. What would be your maybe piece of advice in terms of pillars of Swiss success? What is it is for you?
I think we have to be quite careful. Switzerland is also a very lucky country. So it's not only because we do better than others, but for example, in the world wars, we were not involved. So I think we have been lucky, and we have to be aware of that. And that means it's also a necessity to support others who are not maybe that lucky. If I think at the moment, actual moment, the situation in Ukraine, where I have been in 2020 as president, meeting President Zelensky, and if I see now the situation, I'm very glad that my country, Switzerland, wants to support Ukraine and already now thinking about after the war how we can for reconstruction. And I think women have to go really in that now, because
Exactly.
reconstruction has to include also the perspective of women, the needs of women, because women also have been so much hit by this war, men as well, of course. But I think in the reconstruction, there is also an incredible possibility and a chance also for inclusion. And I'm glad if Switzerland can also support in that direction. So Switzerland, what do we do? I think we have a democracy. So that as well, we have to be careful with that, because democracy is very slow, it's heavy, it's not easy going.
Yeah.
So people have to understand that democracy means that you have to do compromises, that you cannot keep just your own opinion 100%, that you have to have inclusion for everybody. And I think these are really the main points to have a society that includes everybody and not leaves persons behind.
It's very wonderful words, and overall it gives also hope. I hope that the practices from Switzerland would be used as a recovery stage of Ukraine, that from my perspective should start at this stage, not waiting the longer terms goal, but rather now, because we need operational recovery, other things, and the support of Switzerland is enormous. What is the power of peace for you? You have mentioned that also like peace has contributed to the development of Switzerland, being not involved in the Second World War, and overall, how do you perceive this word, peace?
Well, peace is not something that is here and then it stays. It's a constant engagement for peace. And I mean, peace is also, you can have measures to, to, to keep peace, peacekeeping measures. And maybe this is something that women can bring into politics, maybe even bring more into politics, that you do not say now it's peace and then it's fine, and then suddenly there is no more peace, but to be aware that peace, you have to do something for it all the time, every day. And we spoke about sustainability. I think social justice is something which is incredibly important for peace. So it's not something that is here or it's absent,
Yeah.
but it's a dynamic or a process, and we have to be aware and really take measures. What kind of measures? I think give young people a perspective. This is also a peacekeeping measure, because so young people, they know what they can do and they are not hopeless, and sometimes they say, oh, there is no other solution than to have a war now. So peacekeeping measures give perspective, education, health system, inclusion of all the different parties or different interests in a society. I think we have not been aware enough of that, how important it is to have peace and to keep peace in a society, and that's never done.
Yeah, peace is really the process. Thank you very much. It's a really, really enormous honor. And thank you for this also inspiring message for people watching us and women, girls, men and boys from different countries on how to keep up going. And thank you for enormous leadership perspective that you've highlighted.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you for
and all the best for
everything.
you.